Jumpin' In on Manx Radio.
With Howard and Chris Kane.
Hello.
Good evening.
And welcome. Yes, indeed, it is that time once again, would you believe that is, namely 9 o'clock Saturday night. Of course it's not Crackerjack, you know what it is. It is Jumping In, the best in modern contemporary jazz with myself, H.
And me, Chris. Yes, welcome to this week's show, and it's gone as quickly as it arrived. TT madness, that is. But at least some sense of normality is resumed. However, as the big stages and the bikes may have gone, there's still plenty of good music to be heard here on Jumping In. We've even had a slimmer of summer promise with the weather earlier this week, although perhaps we're all hoping there's more to come. Speaking of which, a swallow doesn't make a summer, but a barbecue or two do. I know you're keen to do that, H, so what's been your pick of the mixed grill this week, or have you thrown the ball on the back burner?
I am spoiled for choice. There's so much good stuff coming through at the moment. I do not have enough time or ears to listen to it all. So this week for choice, we'll have a ladder, an Amaryllis, and a labyrinth.
And if any of you are worried, he still has the regular 2 in the ear department. And from me, we fall about laughing, we rise to the occasion. We're a bit early for Christmas. We find upstairs a bit strange, and to kick off, let's dig in Buddy. Yeah. Pianist Earl MacDonald there with a track from his 2017 release Open Borders, which was in part a political statement, in title at least, in reaction to the proposed Trump wall on the border to Mexico, if you remember. Earl, himself a Canadian, and not so much a big band here, but a dectet, completely unfettered by race and gender, and his style of large ensemble writing perhaps strays away from the big band traditional charts with separate solo sections over A or B sections, but incorporates written soloist sections in the track. We heard Dig In Buddy, we heard at least half of them having a little blow. And who are they all, I ask? Well, Chris Allen, Wayne Escoffrey, well known, and Lawrence Sevian on saxes, Jeff Holmes and Josh Evans on trumpet, Sarah Giovino on trombone, Alex Gertner on French horn, Henry Lugo bass, Ben Bileo on drums, Aletla de Champlain on vocals, Richard Monson on percussion, and Earl MacDonald writing and the arrangements all on piano.
Great stuff, wonderful way to get going. Guitarist Mary Halverson has been at the forefront for quite a number of years now. I've yet to see her live, it has to be said, but always gets rave reviews. It's certainly been one of the guitarists of the moment on the freer end of the spectrum. Most of the playing is relatively free, doesn't tend to play inside the box so much as outside. 2 new albums out from her, co-released as it were. They're not a double album, they're 2 separate albums but out at the same time, Amaryllis and Belladonna. One featuring just a string quartet and Mary on guitar. That's Belladonna. We're going to hear a bit from Amaryllis, which also features the quartet, but also her own group featuring the wonderful Thomas Fujiwara on the drums. We've had his latest on the show not that long ago as well. Here's a track she calls Night Shift. Great stuff. Like I said, free but not free, that one. It's sort of on the borders, I would always say. Definitely got a free air to it, but equally there is a structure to the song. Great sound. Mary Halverson with her latest, or one of her latest, that's Amaryllis. As I say, Belladonna also out with the string quartet. Mary herself on guitar, of course. Adam O'Farrell on trumpet, Jacob Garchik trombone, Patricia Brennan vibraphone, Nick Dunstan bass, and again the wonderful Thomas Fujiwara on the drums. Both been getting rave reviews. We're talking to the guy in Ray's Jazz who was saying, amazing, he said, they've sold out virtually straight away. There's only one left there when we went, and he said, even though it's on the freer end of the spectrum, he says, I could have sold far more than I actually got in. Interlinked albums, you can get them on their own, but do either way. Mary says she also always likes to sort of try and find a true voice, and quite influenced by the likes of Joe Morris and Anthony Braxton, but looking for her own voice, and I think she's really succeeded in doing that. I really do hope to be able to see her live sometime. It'd be great to get her on the show, but either of these are worth checking out. I haven't had the chance to have a really good listen to Belladonna yet, but it's going to be never less than interesting.
Indeed. And next, however, we're in a bit more rigid tango country in the company of accordion master Richard Galliano and his Tangeria Quartet. Well, you've just got to smile, haven't you, when you hear five, because there's a guest as well, consummate masters at the top of their game, simply having a giggle. Here's Furia. Indeed, very enthusiastic crowd response there. The Richard Galliano Tangeria Quartet captured live with virtuoso guest mandolin, dueling with Galliano there on Fou Rire, or Giggles, in front of an appreciative audience live at the Marciac Jazz Festival. One that's been on our list for a while, but we haven't actually made it there yet.
No.
This is the third release of this particular set. You can get it on DVD as well, but this one as a CD is the nearest to the complete captured concert. A little accordion can go a long way for some, but there's no doubt that Richard Galliano can cover the distance, ably joined there by guest Hamilton de Hollander on mandolin, Alexis Cardenas on violin, Philip Ertz on bass, and Rafael Maijas on percussion.
Terrific stuff, amazing player, as you say, that could fit into pretty much any category, really, couldn't it? It could be in jazz, could be in folk, could almost be in classical, it could be, real sort of third stream stuff, that, and none the worse for that. Amazing playing. How they do it on the button accordion, I've no idea. It is Jumping In with Chris and myself, H. The best in modern and contemporary jazz. Brad Meldo's been up as an A-lister for quite a few years now after shaking off his Bill Evans acolyte tag, which he had for, much to his annoyance, for the first few years of his career. I think that's long gone. Certainly Jacob's Ladder, his latest, is a long way from anything that Bill Evans ever released. One of his concept albums, which he's very fond of. Also, he's very deep, as it were, as in philosophical and quite religious. In his notes, opening notes to this one, he says, "We are born close to God, and as we mature, we invariably move further and further away from him on account of our ego." That's my understanding of the matter. Yeah, make of that what you will. It's an interesting album, and not going to appeal to everyone, but it's been growing on me the more I play it, but it's definitely a real crossover. There's all sorts on it, from singing to classical references, lots of religious references, quotes from the Bible, you name it, it's all there. Here's Jacob's Ladder 2. As I say, a bit of everything. Jacob's Ladder, the latest, I think it came out last June, although frankly I only got round to hearing it in the last few months. The latest from Brad Meldau. I think it was out last June. It's music that is reflecting on scripture and the search for God through music, which is pretty much what he says, harking back to his roots in prog rock, which he loves, or did love as a youngster, and still really loves going back to it, and some of those classic sort of synth sounds and almost sort of 70s and 80s types sound, which he seems to love on the keyboard. He's got the likes of Chris Thiel and Cécile McLaurin-Salvant, as well as old stablemate Mark Giuliana on drums and electronic drums, Becca Stevens, Joel Fram, sax player, he harks back a long way with, and several others on the album. A good review in Mojo gave it 4 stars, and I think sums it up in a couple of lines. Sonically, Jacob's Ladder, a kaleidoscope affair where baroque prog rock edifices are juxtaposed with clouds of ethereal choirs, dreamy piano interludes, and squalls of free jazz-style clarinet. Skillfully woven these storytelling elements into sound collages, the listener is taken on a memorable musical journey.
Yes, indeed. And you mentioned the prog rock aspect. There's a number of prog rock songs on there, indeed. Material from Gentle Giant and also from Yes, amongst others that are in there, which gave me an idea we might actually look at another special. We could do one perhaps based on But Is It Jazz? ... Might be an interesting programme. Next from me, New York pianist Art Hirihara, who's one of the leading house musicians on the fantastic Positone label, constantly in demand as a gigging musician. Earlier this year, he released a solo piano EP of tracks he'd written and arranged for his own band, but were recorded in the sessions for those sets when Art was trying out the tunes by himself. Here's Ascent. Art Hirahara, and Ascent from the EP of the same name. Art says he was unaware he was being recorded at the time. These were the recordings are the nearest thing to a stream of consciousness you could hope to hear, taken from a number of distant sessions when he was working with his own group. Well, we like what you're thinking, Art, and thanks to Positone for sending us that.
Absolutely, and indeed, any of the people who help us out with the programme, we are indebted to you for helping us out to feature some of this great music early doors, get it out there, and hopefully inspire some more love of the sounds of modern jazz from around the globe, such as John Yao, a man I'm not that familiar with his work, but I've really been enjoying his latest one, Labyrinth. John Yao's Triceratops. He's been around for quite some time. It's just, hasn't crossed my radar that much. But have a listen to this anyway. Triceratops, John Yao, and Labyrinth. Great stuff, been enjoying that one a lot. John Yao, the album's called Off Kilter. It came out on the 10th of June on Tau Recordings. Definitely worth checking out.
And who's the lineup on that one, H? Is it a good lineup?
There is a cracking lineup on that one, which I've actually lost at the moment, which was slightly annoying. I'll just can find it again. It's a 3-horn lineup. So you've got the latest of bassist Robert Sabin, Mark Ferber on drums, and then you've also got, along with Yao, you also have Billy Drews and John Iribagon on saxes.
John Iribagon turns up, of course, in a number of big bands, so regular on the New York scene. And speaking of New York, that is just about it for this week's show. But we've got time to fit in a track from Polish pianist Kamil Piotrowicz and his sextet. And it's going to be the title track from their forthcoming release, Weird Heaven. And should you find yourself actually on the other side of the pond in New York this weekend, you can catch them live at the album launch, which is part of the 6th Jazz to Pad Festival in New York, returning after 2 years forced absence like lots of other festivals. It's a festival made to celebrate the best Polish jazz in collaboration with some of the top stateside talents, and we keep promising ourselves a Polish one is another one we're going to make.
I tell you what, we're also promising, we've got the great, speaking of stateside and Britain, the great Dave Holland. We have an interview with him we did last week, and we must get him played in the next week or two. Or
Yes, we'll get him in the next couple of weeks or so.
Yeah, get in there. So there are some interviews we've still got to bring your way. It's fitting everything in. There is too much music and not enough time.
And we've got a few interviews lined up as well. But until next time, do widzenia, as they say, Weird Heaven from Kamil Petrusevich Sextet. See you next week.
Same time, same place. We are moving, by the way, lest I forget, in the next couple of weeks. So I think we will be same time next week. We will still be here on Saturday night. The week after that, we will be moving to Friday, certainly for the summer, and then we might be back to Saturday again. But a couple of little programming changes going on here. So we are moving, Jumpin In will be moving to Friday, and then on Friday, where Sweet and Swing will be moving to Tuesday. So do be aware of that. The podcast, of course, will remain in exactly the same place.
Available whenever you want them. Until now, Weird Heaven. See you next week.
Be good.
Bye for now.